Hi, this is Tara Omatosho with Inspired into Action. Today I am interviewing Tanya Winfield. How are you doing, Tanya?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being available. I apologize to the listeners for the technical difficulties that we're experiencing. Usually it's a face to face interview, but Tanya and I are working and we're pushing through this and we're going to have a successful interview. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes, that's what we have to do sometimes as entrepreneurs and women and mothers. We got to make it happen.
That's right. We're all about adapting and we have to wing it sometimes, but we make it happen at the end of the day.
Exactly, exactly. So, Tanya, could you tell the listeners about who you are?
Yes, I am Tanya Winfield, and many may know me from season 15 of The Biggest Loser. I was a top three fan favorite and a top six finalist of the show.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more about your entrepreneurs, your
Yes,
businesses.
yeah. So prior to The Biggest Loser, I'll tell you what got me on The Biggest Loser.
Okay.
I've been an entrepreneur pretty much for the last 15 years. I've also worked in corporate America all my life. I'm one of those people that kind of built my way up the corporate channels from being a teller all the way up to moving into education and development and then into executive management. So I have a very progressive career path for myself. But I always kept some type of business. I believe in multiple streams of income. So I worked in corporate America, but I also own businesses. Some of the businesses that I've owned was real estate, but the most popular thing, which is very popular here in Chicago, is the iconic Harold's Chicken Shack. I've owned Harold's Chicken Shacks for the last 15 years. Um, I've had over 8 stores. I'm trying to think. I've had over 8 stores, and it's something that I enjoy doing. I was a COO for the company for a year or so to try to, create some standards across the industry, across all the different stores. But even with that, I continue to own my stores. So that's basically what I've done from a professional standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint. It's corporate America and owning several businesses.
Okay, all right, great. Could you tell us what inspired you? Do you come from a family of people who had their own business, or what made you want to start your own business?
Well, it's interesting you asked me that. Here's the thing. I believe that people have entrepreneurial or business sense in them. A lot of people just don't pursue it for whatever reason, fear, lack of encouragement, and so on and so forth. I'm one of those fearless people. I believe in just going out there. I'm one of those people, if God tells me yes, I just do it. I had a family member that owned a store about 15 or so years ago, and I saw them do it, and they were very successful. And my passion came out of something very, very simple, and that was me being selfish.
Mhm.
And this is why I say that. I grew up on Harold's Chicken Shack. I lived in the suburbs where there was no Harold's Chicken Shack.
Mhm.
And my ex-husband and I, we used to drive all the way to Chicago, an hour away, for chicken, which is crazy. And so one day I literally said, I want my own store. I'm tired of driving all the way to Chicago in not so safe neighborhoods for chicken.
Mm.
And I said, and if I want it, there has to be other people that want it. And so I started doing my research. I started talking to different people and, getting their feedback. Hey, how do you think a Harold's would do in this area? And it birthed from that. It birthed from my own selfish, greedy reasons. But it turned in that passion turned into a huge financial stream for my family and I.
Wow, that's really great. Now, some of the listeners that are listening from Chicago, they know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about too, because my husband's from Chicago, and Harold's Chicken is definitely good. But now the people in Maryland and Washington and Virginia are going to be like, "Well, we need a Harold's Chicken here in the district."
It's so funny you say that. I just left Baltimore on Monday. I do a lot of scouting. I travel to a lot of different areas. I do a lot of speaking engagements and so on. And one of the things I do when I'm in different areas is I meet people. I'm forever in business mode. So when I meet people and I find out they're from the Chicago area, and then I find out, well, is there a bigger population of people of Chicagoans here? And that lets me know if it's a possibility that a Harold's may do well in that area. So believe it or not, I'm definitely looking in the DC, Baltimore area.
Okay, all right.
I'm not promising anything, but it is a possibility.
Okay. So in regards to the years that you have been in business, what can you share some of the challenges that you've experienced? How can you share those with the listeners and talk about how you overcame some of those challenges? Sure.
Some of the challenges that I experienced early on, of course, was financial challenges. It's very difficult to get small business loans for restaurants when you're just starting out. A lot of them want you to already have some longevity in the business, and then some, even SBA loans, want you to have a certain stake. They want you to come up with a certain percentage of your build out costs. So a lot of what I faced was financial. Mm-hmm. And what helped me is because I am a serial entrepreneur. I mean, I literally will open up one business to fund another. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I said, okay, let me take a step back with this. Let me get into real estate, because that doesn't cost much to do, to get my real estate license. Right. And then I'll take that money and save it up to fund what I really want to do, which is the Harold's Chicken Shacks. Okay. So I didn't rely on anyone to fund me. Mm-hmm. I looked within myself and funded it myself. So that's something that I would encourage people to do. Look within yourself to fund your vision. And so I was able to do that. I was also able to take money that I made from my job with corporate America. We used to get very good bonuses, and apply that to opening up my stores. So finances definitely was a big issue for me in the beginning, until I changed my mindset and decided to finance it myself. Okay. Yeah, one of the other struggles, my ex-husband and I we've been parents forever. It's time management. It's having that balance of life and work. And that is a huge problem with entrepreneurs. We don't know how to shut it off. Yes. It's the truth. And so that was a huge struggle. It definitely caused a lot of tension within the relationship, because, again, you don't know how to shut it off. And so what we had to do was we really had to kind of tag team and take turns in the store. We embarked our children in the store, so they enjoyed it, which was fun. They were able to come in and put in a couple of hours, and as they were growing up, they actually saw it as their job. And so we made our business a family business, mm-hmm. To help kind of balance not spending a lot of time, different things. But even with that, we didn't want to always be in the store. We still had to find time for us. And so that was a challenge. But what we did was we made it a priority. I mean, period. We literally had to say, okay, let's hire a manager. Let's not take so much from the store and spend a little bit more and hire a manager so that we can step away and enjoy our quality of life. Let's enjoy the fruits of our labor. And that's really good. Yeah. You gotta have balance. And that's good that you made that a priority. Yes, it definitely became a priority. But that was something that was very difficult for us. And then too, for me, and I realized this later on in life, you know, they always say don't get high off your own supply. So excuse that expression. But
Yeah.
but I was eating too much chicken. I mean, like seriously, I was eating the product, and that's something that definitely affected me. I know a lot of people that own bakeries, and you know, they own all these different types of restaurants, and they're obese.
Yeah.
And they're not thinking of the fact that their product is killing them.
Yes. Yes.
And so it was something that definitely was affecting my health, and I didn't even realize it. Which led me on The Biggest Loser, to be quite honest. It was part of the reason why I was on The Biggest Loser. So, I had to really take a step back and pay attention to, this is my business, but this could not be something that I eat every single day. There needs to be a balance.
Correct.
Because I enjoy my product more than anybody else, because
Yeah.
it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
it is
So,
good. It is good.
yeah.
It is
So
good.
enjoy your product, but don't over absorb yourself in the product, I guess
hear
is what
you.
I'm
You
saying.
know, you alluded to something earlier. You were talking about not, about balance, and that is great. You have to definitely put your family, or you have to have some type of a system where you're putting your family, you're putting yourself, you're putting your husband in a particular order. You can't just always be working on your business. I think that's so important, and I think that's what entrepreneurs, we necessarily don't think of, because when you're in the mode and you're grinding, you're going. And that's a very important, that was a very important point that you made, that often we forget, especially being women. We're so used to doing so many things for other people that we hardly take the time to do for ourselves. And that's probably another reason why you may have been eating more, because you were taking time doing things for other people. Would you say so?
Well, I was eating more because I was in the store all day, and if I'm hungry, I'm going to grab chicken. So
That's true
it
too.
was,
That's true too.
so it was a matter of convenience for me. Wasn't always the smartest choice, but no, you're absolutely right. There you have to prioritize your business. You know, the highest divorce rate is amongst entrepreneurs, because we don't know how to shut it off.
Yeah.
Yet we know that entrepreneurs make up the majority of the wealth in this country. But you know, what good is it to be wealthy if you have a horrible marriage?
That's so true. That's so true.
So one of the things that I really do focus on now, I'm single now, but one of the things that, you know, when I do have my do-over, because that time will come, God will bless me with a husband, is I'm going to make sure I have my priorities in check.
Yeah.
And health is wealth.
Yes.
I always tell people this: it doesn't matter how much money you make, if you are not physically healthy, if you are not emotionally and mentally healthy, you are poor.
Yes, you are.
Period. And so I had to learn that the hard way, but I learned it.
Yeah. You have to be equal in every area of your life. And then another thing you talked about earlier is that you basically started doing businesses based on things that you already knew how to do. And that's really what I push on Inspire to Action. Like, you don't necessarily have to gain a new skill or do something totally out of the box or go to school unless you want to. But you already have gifts and talents inside you that God has placed in you that cause you to become, like, I can sew this scarf, or I could do this. How about I start selling it? And that's what it seemed like you did. You already said, well, I'm good at selling things. I'm good at communicating and talking with people. So let me do real estate while I build up the money to buy this Harold's chicken. And that's really important, that the listeners understand that, you necessarily don't have to go to school unless you want to, but you already have gifts and talents inside you that will assist you in carrying out your business or your dream. Would you say so? Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I truly believe that your passion will open a door for you. I believe that your gifts and your talents will open a door for you. I think some people just don't tap into what their gifts and talents are, because they're just going through the motions of life. We allow life to kind of lead us versus we're leading our lives. And I think that's the difference. And we have to get into the mindset of focusing on us, our is, you know, what gifts are inside of us. Because I promise you, this is one thing I learned. I promise you this. If you tap into what God has put inside of you from birth, you won't have a need in the world.
No, you won't.
That's the honest to God truth. You won't. But we have to take that time to tap into that. We have to invest in ourselves enough to find out what those things are.
Right. And so that goes to my next question. I was going to be asking you about some skills or things that you think entrepreneurs need to have in order to have successful business. And one you just alluded to is tap into those skills, those talents. What would you say some other skills would be that entrepreneurs need to have in this business age?
You know, I would definitely say there are some basics, some fundamental things that we need. You need time management skills. Mm-hmm. You need money management skills.
Yes.
You need people skills. You need customer service skills. Conflict resolution skills, especially if you're dealing with customers or employees. There are some fundamental basic things that you need, but you also need an attitude of persistency. Mm-hmm. You need an attitude of, I'm gonna make this work, and nothing is going to stop me.
Yes,
you need an attitude of don't stop, because people will just give up so quickly.
Yes.
And if you look at any successful entrepreneur, any successful person, they failed a lot of times over. They absolutely did. But there had to be a certain drive in them to say, I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. So you have to have persistency. You have to believe in you if no one else believes in you.
Yes.
So that mental aptitude, that mindset has to be there of, I'm a winner and I'm going to make this happen.
Yes. That's great.
That has to be there.
Yeah, you do. I have an attitude like, I win and I learn. 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 Because every opportunity, every situation is a learning opportunity, and in the end, we win. We win regardless.
Yes.
So
yes.
Let me, as a quick final question. What are some action steps? I'm all about taking action. You know, we could talk and have this great conversation and motivate people so much so where they don't take any action. What are some action steps that someone could take today? Say if they wanted to own a franchise like you, or they wanted to, maybe they wanted to be on the next season of Biggest Loser, or they wanted to do some things, or just start their own business. What are some action steps that someone could take today in order to start their own business?
Well, let me say this. I don't start anything without prayer and fasting. So I don't want to make this a religious show, but the first things I do is I start everything with prayer and fasting, and I seek God for an answer. If that answer is yes, and then I know that I have everything in me, I may need to do some research. Research your industry. You should know your industry better than anyone else. Mm-hmm. That may include seeking out mentors. That is so key. You need someone that can raise their hand and say, me too. I've done this too, and this is how you go about doing it. Yes. So seek out mentors. Get individuals that, not just for your industry, but they're entrepreneurs, and they're successful entrepreneurs. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying successful entrepreneurs is, you know, I don't take advice from anyone that, you know, that they could fail at doing a lemonade stand. I don't take advice from those type of people. I seek out successful people. And it's so important that that's who you surround yourself with. Because believe me, those successful people have failed before as well, okay? So you want to have those people that you can rely on that can give you the information firsthand and not secondhand information. So find yourself a mentor. I would actually tell you to go a little further and research your industry as far as from an educational standpoint. I started researching the restaurant industry. I started researching a lot of things with food illnesses, and even the ingredients, and even the farms. I wanted to know, you know, how do they kill these chickens, and what is the process? And so I wanted to learn the industry inside and out. So become knowledgeable about your industry. As well as I would also say the community involvement. If you're interested in going into a certain area, be involved in the community to find out what the community needs are. Because you could definitely want a business and it could be a great idea for you, but if it doesn't fit the need of that community, it's not going to work there.
That's true.
So take some time and do inventory on those types of things. But the biggest thing is doing inventory on yourself. You can have a passion and want to start a business, but you're going to have to ask yourself some serious questions. Some of those questions may be, am I willing to give up all my Saturdays to make this business work? Am I willing to get up every single morning at 7 o'clock to do X, Y, and Z? Am I willing to make the sacrifice and the time commitment to put into this business?
Yeah.
Am I willing to juggle? You know, in the beginning, every business, you're going to have to juggle. You're going to have to spend a little less time with your family. You're going to have to do those things in the very beginning until you get it where you need it to be. So being honest with yourself about the commitment it takes to start a business is very key as well.
Yeah.
And then financially, you know, if you have a problem balancing your checkbook now, balancing your business checkbook is going to drive you crazy.
Yes.
So I would say get your financial house in order now. Those disciplines that you need just for your home, get those things in check now before you look to open a business, because I promise you, you will fail if you don't.
Yeah, or you'll commingle funds and then you'll be having another problem.
Absolutely.
Yes.
As well as I would say your spending habits. Pay attention to your spending habits now. You know, a lot of people think, you know, I'm gonna open up this business so that I can buy this and I can buy that and I can. You know what? A lot of times in business, it's a sacrifice. I made my first $1 million by the age of 35 in businesses, but guess what? That doesn't impress me because it's all about what you get to keep.
Yeah.
And what you get to give away.
Yes.
So you can make the money, but you have to be smart about how you spend your money, spending your money wisely. So pay attention to how you're spending your weekly or biweekly paychecks. If you have some struggle there, you're definitely going to have some struggle when it comes to owning a business. So get your financial house in order first.
That's good. That's really good information, because what you do now in these small times, and whatever, if it's small times, whatever it is, in this time where you are, that's going to magnify even more when you have more money. So that's
Absolutely
very key. That's very key. So Tanya, thank you again for interviewing with us. If someone wanted to get in contact with you, how can they get in contact with you?
Sure, they can reach me at Tanya Winfield on Facebook, Tanya Winfield on Instagram. I make it very easy. Tanya Winfield on Twitter. And my website, www.tanyawinfield.com. I also speak at Essence Fest every year. If you plan on being there, stop by. I'm Colgate's Total Woman. So I speak at Essence Fest every year. You can stop by there. And then I have events that go on in different areas throughout the year.
All right, great. Thank you again, Tanya, for taking the time out of your schedule to do the interview. I'm sure that a lot of people that were listening had got some good nuggets from your experience and your knowledge. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, thank you so much. And you're doing a great job. Thank you for having this forum. I think it's so important that we share our nuggets of information, because it definitely can change lives.
Yeah, that's how we overcome by our testimony. So thank you again.
That's right.
All right. Have a good evening. All right.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.